I'm going to give you my 10 actually, and I don't really consider them bombers because they did bomb, but they were also did cars at that time. People were mixing the bombing. They would go do throw-ups and they would do pieces. It was all mixed up. It wasn't like all throw-ups one guy did. They mixed it up. Like me in the beginning, I was trying to do a lot of throw-ups just to get my name out there. And then when I got my name out there with my throw-ups, that's when I came with my pieces. I was just starting to learn the piece. And at that time, my favorite writers at that time, one of the guys that took me up, two of them actually, Mark 198 and Heisen, they're the ones who took me up and showed me, how to piece, the layups, the yards, everything. And those are my two favorites right there. And I got other ones that I've seen when I was, I would be benching sometimes, and on the 4 line, the 2 line, I was up in Meshulah, I would bench on 149th Street, but a lot of the guys that I looked up to were Comet, Blade. They smashed the 2s and 5s, no doubt about it. They're the guys that smashed it. I think they had like 7 or 8 year run, and nobody was able to touch them. And I got to say, Dean, BYB, he was a good friend too. Rest in peace. And he was a favorite of mine also. He's underrated, but he went all city. A lot of people don't talk about that. He had a couple of names. Ellie and Dean and 3 or 4 of different names. I just don't recall them now. He was another one, and Cliff 159, very similar. He did a little bit more than Dean, but he was a little bit before Dean also. But them two are like kind of the same writers. They did pieces and they bombed, the pieces and they bombed, but they both went all city. That's another underrated writer people don't talk about. Now Cliff 159 did a lot of work also, and he's from way back. I know he teamed up with Common, and he was Common's partner at one time. Then, of course, Stay High 149. I mean, one of the best tags ever, period. Ever. And he bombed. I mean, he had a classic tag. It was so nice and neat. Just perfect. Like, if you want to name the most perfect tag ever done, it was Stay High 149. And as far as like piecing too, Tracy was doing a lot of work on the IRTs. And then he went to the walls. All these street artists should thank their lucky stars, because he's the one who started that all. He's the beginning of street art and the walls, and a lot of characters he did. And Peanut too, also another one. Not too many people talk about him, underrated. Peanut did a lot of work. But he bombed the hell out of the D's. He was doing nice pieces on the 4s, 2s, and 5s. Nice hand style. He was another one. Then, of course, you got Lee. I mean, Lee changed the game with whole cars. When Lee was doing his whole cars, nobody was doing them like him. I mean, he was doing so much scenery in the background. He knew how to use his paint. He was really doing a lot of work and a lot of whole cars. So, I mean, he was one of the guys, I think, that people, when they seen his stuff going, they tried to get better and better just to try to do what he was doing at the time. And I mean, sometimes, I remember one time I was sitting on Meshulah Parkway, and there was a layup there, the lead with the dragon. And I sat there and I looked at it for 2 hours. At that time I was smoking a lot of weed. And I looked at it. It was an amaze how it looked. How I was saying, how did he do that? How did he do that dragon? The scales on the dragon and everything. It was awesome, man. I mean, awesome. And then, Mark 198, a lot of work. Did a lot of letters that a lot of people followed after him. Very good with the colors. Neat with the paint. And he got up. It's all over Subway Art. He's in the front cover. He's in the front cover of Getting Up. And he has a lot of history behind him. And also Heisen 1. And these are the guys that took me up there and showed me everything. The painting, the piecing, how to rack, or how to bomb, how to tag. Those 2 guys are responsible for all that, for what I did. I followed those guys, and after that I was good. Comet, Blade, Dean, Tracy, Mark 198, Peanut 2, Cliff 159, Style 149, and Lee. I would say, not in that order, but that's the list of my favorites.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, these are guys. These are all the guys from the '70s. All the guys. These are all the guys from the '70s that put in work. And I mean, a lot of them are recognized, but there's some of them that ain't recognized, and they should be recognized. You know, like Dean BYB. I mean, I don't know why nobody even talks about that guy. I mean, that guy's really did a lot of work. I mean, he went to the letters, the numbers, and a lot of people think he started in Queens. No, he started in Manhattan. He lived in Manhattan with his grandmother. And that's where we met him. We met him in the schoolyard we used to hang out in. And then when he moved, I think he moved with his mother. When he left his grandmother, he moved in with his mother. That's when he moved to Queens. And that's when he really tore it up, man. Tore it up. Just went to town. That's when he was doing all those two-letter throwies. And he was mixing his pieces too. But he was a very underrated writer. Good friend too.
This is why I'm doing this, kid.
Also, I had a good friend, Bear 167, man. I looked up to him too. He passed away also. But these are all guys that not too many people talk about, and they should be. I mean, you got guys talking about writers that are just, starting in the '90s and 2000s, even 2010. And I mean, if they did something, yeah, talk about them. But I mean, there's guys that weren't even doing much work, and they're going to talk about them. They did this and that. But these are the guys I always looked up to. These are the guys I remember. And there's a whole other list, a bunch of guys I could name off. But these were my favorites. What's going on is there's a lot of writers. There's a certain amount of writers that constantly getting mentioned. The same writers, the same writers, the same writers. And these are the writers that are also getting put up in these places, these big shows and this and that. But it's all the same writers. They're not giving the other guys their recognition, or they're not mentioning them, you know. So they're constantly thinking about these writers all the time that they're putting up. They're putting up at this show, putting up at that show, putting up at this museum, that museum. It's always the same ones. It gets recycled on and on and on and on and on. And all the guys that ain't in there, some of them I mentioned are in there, but more than half of them ain't, and they should have been. You know, so it's you know, when people got a little power and they want certain individuals to be in a certain spot, that's how it works, and that's what's going on right now. So I'm here. I'm going to mention the people I knew, the people I looked up to, and there's a lot more also.
It's awesome, kid.
But that's you know, those are the people, man. Those are the people. I mean, off my head, these are the 10 I liked, and
sick.
I could I mean, I can go on and on and on and on with writers this and that.
Man, that's cool, kid. Top 10, bro. That was perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate your time, man.
No problem. Anytime.
Thanks, kid.
Anytime.